Good morning and welcome to Cornell Cooperative Extension's monthly Consumer Issues Lecture Series. My name is Lara. I'm an issue leader here at Cornell Cooperative Extension. This month's topic is consumer frauds and scams. And we have Mike Danaher, New York State Assistant Attorney General, with us today to discuss this topic with you. Michael, welcome.
Thank you, Lara. It's a pleasure to be here today at Cornell Cooperative Extension to talk about a general topic that we have, which deals with updates on frauds and scams. I know that we frequently talk out here about the different frauds and scams that are out there, but we spend some time usually each year to talk about what might be really going on out in the world as far as scams and frauds goes. They're happening all the time. They happen in many different ways. They can occur by in-person contact or over the telephone or over the internet. People can be contacting us. With the increase in use of the internet, it's provided a fertile ground for scam artists to proceed and to try and trick us into being involved in a particular scam. And they can be very subtle as well. It may seem like it's coming to us as a legitimate offer. It may mirror a legitimate offer that we received from a legitimate company at some point in time. It may even start out by, however we're contacted, them not even asking us for anything right off the bat. There are times that they try to get to know us more or have us purportedly get to know them before they start asking for things. So it may not be at the first blush that someone is asking for money or other things. It may be that they're just trying to contact you and to make sure that they have a live wire that they can manipulate as time goes on. It can also appear like a professional presentation. It could be something we receive in the mail or a website or some type of email that we receive. It may even appear to come to us from what we would term as a reputable business. It might be somebody or a company that we have had dealings with, a bank, a retail establishment, a credit card company. It could be a whole host of people that appear to be legitimate, but they've somehow hijacked that legitimate entity and are now trying to get to us. They also have a tendency to exploit current events. Some things that may happen that we might think is normal, or we might think that it's not surprising that we would receive a solicitation for somebody based on a current event that has occurred, such as a natural disaster in charitable solicitation scams where a natural disaster occurs and people are out fundraising or organizations are out fundraising and we get contacted and we don't think that is anything unusual and we don't follow up and try and find out who it is that is actually contacting us, and we end up giving money to someone who is just putting it in their own pocket. It could be a current time period like a tax season. If it's tax season, what do we expect to have happen? Well, we expect to have to do our taxes. We have to expect to pay our taxes, all these types of things that could be exploited. Might be a holiday. So we get contacted to send a child a Christmas present or some other type of holiday that's going on, and we let our guard down and we could fall victim to a particular scam. That's why I refer to them as scam du jour. There's a scam of the day. It always seems like there's something new going on, in some way that we are being exploited. One of the newest ones that, well, I call it new because it seems to have exploded more recently, but it's been around for a while, is the IRS scam. I'm sure there are many people out there who have received a telephone call saying that they owe some type of tax obligation. It could be a call purportedly from the IRS, a tax department, or something demanding that taxes be paid, or the person would be subject to arrest or being sued or things like that. The reason why I say that it seems to have exploded recently, it looks like they are attacking area codes. So, and I say that just from anecdotal experience, in that our office, over the last couple of months, at certain periods of time, we will get a rash of telephone calls. We may get a dozen telephone calls informing us that, hey, I received a telephone call from someone saying that they were from the IRS and that they owed a bill and things like that. So it seems like they're hitting a focused area. And then it'll go quiet for a while, but then I'll hear some of my colleagues throughout the state who are in different area codes, and they are all of a sudden on a different day getting a rash of telephone calls from people saying that they've received these calls. Here are a few things. First of all, the IRS does not call you. The IRS will not call you demanding you to pay money. It just doesn't happen. I'm sure that I haven't even looked, but I bet you if you go onto the IRS website, there'll probably be a warning up there that says, we do not call. They do not call you. So if you believe that you are current with your taxes and don't have any reason to believe that you would owe any additional money, and all of a sudden you get contacted and say, hey, you owe this money, it's a scam. And it's just trying to get people to get fearful and try to immediately resolve this problem. Nothing strikes fear in people's minds than to get that contact from the IRS or tax authorities saying that you owe money and that you can get into a lot of trouble. And it could also play to the fact that there are frequently people who don't pay their taxes and end up getting prosecuted. So you read about it in the paper and go, oh my gosh, I don't want that to ever happen to me. And somebody calls me and say, okay, who do I write the check to? A lot of you will be out there saying, I would never fall for something like that. But we do receive a lot of telephone calls from people who have actually paid thousands of dollars because they were fearful that they were going to be arrested and their good name would be ruined. But you have to understand that these are scammers. In a lot of instances, I've received those telephone calls at home on my voicemail that it's oftentimes a foreign accent, oftentimes not grammatically correct, and oftentimes they don't even say the appropriate agency because it would be the Internal Revenue Service, and they might say that they're the internal tax department or something like that is not even a recognized entity. So the thing that I would encourage you is do not engage with them, and for those of us who have received that telephone message, delete the message and just proceed. Don't call back and say, I know this is a scam or anything like that. Just disregard it, erase it. Don't worry about it. The IRS is not coming for you. They have better things to do than chase somebody down in the fashion that is being portrayed for $1,500. They're not going to be calling and threatening you and saying there's going to be an IRS agent that is going to, or a police that are going to show up at your house for something that they're saying they want to collect a few $1,000s. It just isn't going to happen. The IRS will contact anybody that is that there's a problem with as far as taxes and things by mail. So you'd get something in the mail, and it would be encouraging you to contact them there. Even if we take that a step further and think out and say, well, the scam artists, they always try to stay one step ahead or try to catch up. They might say, well, we'll start sending out letters to people and telling them to call a certain number. Here's what I would encourage people to do is to, if they would receive a letter, make sure that it is truly from the Internal Revenue Service. You can look up their telephone number. You can look up the number that they might be in your local telephone book and call and say, I received this correspondence, and you're trying to follow up on it. Don't just immediately say that, oh my gosh, I'm going to be arrested, let me send the money. The other thing the IRS is never going to ask you to do is to wire funds, or what we're seeing in this scam, that they want you to run out and get cash cards. Green dot cards at Walmart or some type of cash card, run out and the IRS is not going to be asking you to go out and in essence get cash and send them cash either through wire funds or through these cash cards that you can purchase it at most department stores. They're not going to do that. And in any event, we know it's a scam, but in any event, if you were to ever pay anything to the IRS, you really need to pay in a fashion that you have a record of it anyway. So you want to write a check for that to have some type of documentation, your own check. So don't even think about going out and doing cash and wiring out money and also using these green dot cards. Again, don't engage with them. Hang up the phone. Kind of similar to that, it's the same scam. It's just using a different heading for it. Are debt collection scams. It's in essence the same thing. In the first instance, the IRS is calling and asking for money. Well, in this case, it's XYZ debt collection company, and you're in terrible trouble because you haven't paid a particular debt, and you immediately have to get this debt paid, and they want you to pay it with cash by wiring out funds or going out and getting one of these cash cards or trying to make a wire transfer, a transfer directly from your bank account. Do not do it. The first thing that you need to do is to say to them, I deny and dispute any debt that you claim that I owe. I don't owe anything. You must send it to me in writing. And appropriate debt collection requires that it be sent to you in writing if you dispute the bill. So dispute it and have them send you the debt, and then you can start investigating it more. Who is the debt with? Even if they tell you that it was a debt with Sears credit card or some other thing that you don't know anything about, don't fall for it. You can, if you do have a Sears credit card or whatever, you can look up the 800 number on the back of your Sears card and call the company or Target or whoever it is. Call the company and find out if there is an outstanding balance and confirm it and be a good consumer rather than just willy-nilly sending out money, because in all likelihood it's a scam and that you'll be sending out cash to someone that you don't know. The other thing associated with that is that you will see a number if they call you. You will see a number come up on your caller ID, whether it's on your television set that the telephone shows the number or on your own phone that has a caller ID on it. That number may not be a legitimate number. There are ways through technology that these people are spoofing the telephone number, meaning having a made-up telephone number show up on your phone. In some instances, it could be a number that actually is associated with the IRS. I would say that don't be fooled by that and have you send out money because somebody calls you from a number that you seem to say is legitimate, because the number could be spoofed. Same with websites and things. If they send you a notice saying that you owe money or things, something like that, and you need to respond to it, do not respond to that email. Look up the address for the entity itself. And I know that if you are contacted purportedly from your bank, and the bank's claiming that you owe money or something, and they want you to, or want to confirm personal information or something, do not respond to that text message, email, anything. What you need to do is look up the number for your bank and call them directly and find out what the scoop is. They are not, in all likelihood, they are not contacting you. And the reason why I say contact them directly, they will oftentimes ask you to forward that email or that text message to them so their security personnel can look into it, because you are not the only one that is receiving that message. And so they will want to get on that to try and terminate those types of contacts. And also, they're very good at trying to warn their customers, because they don't want their customers to take a hit, and they do want their customers to see that they're out protecting them. And on top of that, they don't want to have to suffer a loss as well. So contact them immediately. It's happening all of the time, and you have to be aware of it and just don't engage. Another very common scam that we're still seeing out there, and people are falling victim to, are sweepstakes scams. Congratulations, Mr. Smith, you just won a particular sweepstakes, a lottery or whatever. And they're ultimately asking for people to send in money to claim their prize. The first word of advice to people is never spend money to receive money. Never spend any fees, insurance, processing, whatever it's claimed to be. Do not send in money to receive money, because any legitimate sweepstakes that are out there, those types of monies are withheld off the top. So you will not be asked to spend money to receive the money. And this has been going on for years. These types of scams have been out there. When I first started in the Attorney General's office, almost 19 years ago, and I was coming out here to Cornell Cooperative Extension to speak. The first thing that I would often talk about was telemarketing fraud, because we were getting all kinds of telephone calls at that particular point in time saying that we've won something, or that they want to sell us something, or those sorts of things. And sweepstakes was one of the big things. And we were always out there saying, don't spend money to receive money, because people were receiving telephone calls asking them to claim their prize. They needed to pay X number of dollars. And it was always not $2,500 or $1,500. It was always some strange number like $2,235.67. And people were sending money out like crazy. Well, what that has morphed into is that people are receiving notifications now in the mail saying, congratulations, you've won. And they've said that not only congratulations have you won, but there's a fee associated with claiming your prize, the typical thing that we would see. But they're also sending along with it a check. And I have lots of these checks. I have all kinds of checks that come in. I have a drawer full of checks that come in from all different places. And they look just like bank checks or money orders or things like that. I have a whole slew of them. So what they tell you then is take the check, go down to your bank and deposit the check. Wait 2 days, and the amount of that check will be in, well, the check, they'll say the check is cleared. And so when you see that your bank account has gone up by however much money the check was, they will ask you to send them a portion of that, because they usually give you a little bit more than what they're claiming is owed in fees, and just wire that money out. Go down to a Western Union branch, wire it out, and then you would get your prize within a short period of time after that. You don't find out till 2 weeks later that check you deposited, although the money was in your account, it was actually a bad check. And so the bank is recouping the money that you withdrew to send in for the fees, because you deposited a check, but you withdrew cash and wired out cash. The bank is well within their rights to do that, because when you deposit a check, you can use that by midnight of the day following the day that you deposit it. And we assume that that must mean it cleared, and that's not true. It's what we term a provisional credit. The law terms a provisional credit. You have use of that money provisionally, provided that it ultimately clears. In the vast majority of cases, the check will clear. And so you just go on about your daily business, moving from here to here to here. Well, in that one instance where that check does not clear, we who deposit the checks are the ones that the law finds to be ultimately responsible. Because when you think about it, who's the one that's most likely to know whether that check's going to be good or not? Probably the person who made the deposit, because we know who we were dealing with. At least the bank doesn't know who we were dealing with. We should know who we're dealing with. So the onus is on us that for every deposit that we make, we are responsible that that check be ultimately cleared. So when it doesn't clear, it comes back on us. Then we have to go back to the person who gave us the check and battle with them about who should be responsible for the fees and reimbursement. So the bank doesn't sit in the number one seat there. We do. So the bank is right in saying that money you just wired out, I want it back, and they have the right to do that. But by then, the money's gone, we don't know where it went, and we're stuck holding the bag, and that's the case. And that's true in the sweepstakes scenario where they know that we've caught on to the fact that if they call us on the phone and say, well, just wire this money out, that we'll say, no. But if they send us something including a check, we think, hey, it's a check, and that we'll cash it. We're not sending out our money, we're sending out their money. Well, that's not true. You are actually sending out your money until such time as the check is cleared. And so don't be caught up in that sort of thing. That kind of morphs over to other things. We call it sweepstakes fraud, but sweepstakes fraud is also a part of the fake check scam fraud. And the fake check scam fraud may come to us in other ways besides just a sweepstakes. I'll use another example. Many of us have become so comfortable using the internet that we don't think twice about it. We sell things on the internet. We buy things on the internet. We've done this a million times, and the transactions have all been smooth and great. And so we don't think twice of it, and we let our guard down. I've done many transactions. It's fantastic. I go on the internet, I buy something, and it shows up at my house 2 days later, and I didn't even have to go out to the store and look for it or anything. So we're very comfortable. And what is happening now is that we're also comfortable in selling things. There's these sites that we can go to sell things that before we had to take out a classified ad and have a rummage sale or something, but we can post things online and we can sell them, and people buy them, and we get our money, and we ship it out, and we're all good to go. You have to be very, very careful about using those particular sites. I say that Craigslist is the scam capital of the world. I can tell you that if you offer to sell something on Craigslist, I can almost guarantee you that one of the responses is going to be a scam. Somebody's going to contact you, usually from out of the area, who says, hey, I want to buy that boat, that dog, that whatever. And we'll send you a check for it. And then it morphs into the fake check scam. They send you a fake check. Usually, it's for more money than what you are seeking in selling your thing. And they'll say, oh, no problem. Just deposit the check, and when it clears, you can just wire me the difference. And that keep the money for the animal or the boat or whatever, and a few extra dollars for your inconvenience, and just wire the difference out to us. And I'm going to have somebody come by and pick up the boat and the dog or whatever. And it's just it's the fake check scam. They're asking you to wire out funds, maybe not the entire check, but a certain portion of the overage. And you, being the honest person that you are, do that. So you deposit the check. Within 2 days, you see that the money's in your account. You wire out the difference, and you will find out that this person never shows up to pick up the boat or the dog. They just wanted that extra cash that you sent to them. So if you are going to use one of these sites to sell something, I would encourage you to only deal with people who are local, who themselves will come by and hand you the money and will pick up that item. Otherwise, you're asking yourself for a lot of trouble. The same can be true with the use of the internet, with purchasing things. Be very careful. If you're on the other side of that deal, where somebody is saying to you, hey, buy this dog, this boat, this whatever. Here it is, pictures of it. It runs great. Send me the money, and we will ship whatever it is that needs to be shipped to you, or that you can come and pick it up at some later date or whatever. Don't do it unless it's a face-to-face transaction, because if you send out money and you end up not receiving the item, it could be just someone trying to get you to pay something for not having that item. They just took the item, a picture of the item off the internet and posted it up as being something for sale. We've had that situation in Ithaca from foreign students who want to come here for the semester. They're going to enroll at Cornell or Ithaca, and they want to come to the area, but they're foreign in their, or maybe not foreign, but maybe somewhere on the West Coast. And they are so comfortable, our younger people especially, are so comfortable in using the internet and things, they've used it a million times, that they look for a listing for a rental because they have to live somewhere. And they see this great deal on the internet for this apartment, which is a 3-unit house, and it has pictures, and it looks great, and the rent is really reasonable. And so they have to send the first month's rent, the deposit, and the last month's rent. So they have to send 3 months worth of rent. And they say, how this is so good for me because I don't have to travel there. I can use the internet to do these things. And they pay the money, and they show up, and they find out that the place, one, is not available for rent. There have been instances where scam artists have gone to the multiple listing service, meaning houses that are being sold, taken the information from there, and then posted it as being a rental. And people think it's a great deal, and they come into town just before school is supposed to start, and they find out that they sent money to someone for rental of an apartment that's not even available to them. It's not even being rented out. So again, you have to use the internet, but use it wisely. Go and see the apartment. Make sure that you deal directly with the landlord or the real estate company, and that it is legitimate, that you have a lease, and that it's signed, and the deposit's paid, and then keys can be transferred, so it saves a whole heck of a lot of aggravation. Hey, you can use these things to look, get an idea, scope out where you might want to be, and pick a few places, but come and look. Take the time, deal with people in person, and you go a long way toward helping to protect yourself. Another big scam that we're seeing a lot of is the infamous grandparents scam. Grandparents, older people are receiving telephone calls saying, hey, Grandma, this is your favorite grandson. I'm in a little hot water and I need your help. And goes through and explains that it could be any different scenarios, but one typical scenario is that I went with some friends out of town, and one of them did something wrong, and we ended up getting arrested, and I need to get bailed out. Or it could be somebody purportedly as a police officer calling the grandparents saying, hey, we've arrested your grandchild, and they need bail of X number of dollars and you need to wire it out right now or get cash cards or things like that. These are scams. It may sound like your grandchild. It may be someone who has some information on your grandchild, which means that your grandchild might have been had their Facebook page hacked, or that your grandchild is putting too much information out on their Facebook page, and they were just able to go on it and pick up different information, and then they can act and pose as if they are the grandchild and ask people to send out money. Don't do it. It's a scam. They may say, well, don't call my parents. Well, I would think would be the first thing that you would do. And call I can't tell you the number of times that people have come up to me after I've given a talk, and one of the things we mentioned was grandparent scam, and a grandparent would come up to me and say, that happened to me. And the first thing I did I called my daughter, and she said, Johnny's he's sitting right here in the living room, or he's at work right now, so there's no way that he would be doing it. So these are scams. Don't follow up with them. Just hang up and move on. The big scam that's out there, it happens in many different ways, but the big scam is that people don't necessarily are not necessarily engaging in a scam whereby they are asking you to send them money. They may not be asking you to send them money at all. The biggest scam that is out there now, the most lucrative scam that is out there now, is a thing called identity theft, where all they're trying to get is information, personal information. It is oftentimes more valuable than the money that they're asking to send to you, because then people go out and they get credit cards in your name, they apply for loans in your name. There are people who are stealing identities and going out and having medical procedures done in your name. That's the reason why when you go to the hospital, I had to do a blood test today, so I went to the hospital, and it jumps out at me. When I go up to the desk to sign in, the first thing they ask me for is my photo ID. And you'd say, wait a second, I've been here a million times. Why are they doing this? Because they have protocols. It has happened so much. They have protocols. It is mandatory that they ask for identification when you show up because of the identity theft that is occurring. People are stealing more than just cash. They're stealing your personal information. So we have to do a good job in protecting our personal identification information. And personal identification information is more than just your bank account number or your credit card number. It's anything that is personal to you. That means your address, your telephone number, your mother's maiden name. The thing I like to use is most of us have been on the internet where we've signed up for something to be a member for something. It might be that you bank online. And we all know that when we go on and do those sorts of things, we have to answer security questions. In case we forget our password or something, we answer usually 3 security questions. What I say to people is, any of the answers to those security questions are personal identification information. Where you were born, right? Where you went to high school, what was your first car, what's your dog's name. All these things are personal to you. You should protect that information so that people don't have the ability to get that or steal your identity. The other thing I tell you is those security questions are not questions that in the initial instance are a test to see if you know. Like, do you know what high school you went to? Do you know what your first dog's name was? Any of those things, they're not questions that are right or wrong. They're questions that they're seeking answers for you in the initial instance. The reason why I say that to you is the answer you put down doesn't have to be right. You could make up an answer. Now, you have to be able to remember what that answer is, but you can make up that answer. So even if people knew where you were born, the city you were born in, if you picked a whole different city and say, okay, from now on, I'm going to say I was born in Cincinnati. You were born in Ithaca, but I'm going to say from now on, I was born in Cincinnati. And you put in Cincinnati. So if somebody knew you vaguely and knew where you were born, and they say, well, and they were an identity thief, and they went on to your bank account, and they didn't have your password. They said, but I want to retrieve that password. So you have to answer a security question. Where were you born? And they put down Ithaca because they knew you were born in Ithaca. They would be wrong because you put down Cincinnati. So you can game the system as well and provide further protections. Again, you have to always remember where it is that you put down, or a different name for your dog or something. Those are the things that you can really add additional security protections for you. There are other security protections that are built in, such as that I know that if your bank contacted you, or you contact your bank or something and you forget the password to enter, when you log in and say, okay, I need to recover my password, they don't give you the new password right away. What they usually do is they send a link to your email address. And then you have to access to change your password or recover your password through your email address. And that throws out another warning that I should give to people. Make sure you protect your passwords. Make sure you protect and use robust passwords so that people can't hack into your email account where they can retrieve these sorts of things. Also, change them periodically so that if someone were to use a password or get a hold of your password, it would only be good for a finite duration because you have changed it. I know that's a pain in the neck to change those all the time, but it will serve you well to change those things. Also use a mixture of capital and regular letters, numbers, and symbols in your passwords. The more you do that and the longer that it is, I know the harder it is to remember, but the better it is for you. It provides much more protection for you, especially if you are not mixing in sequential numbers or that you're using words as a password that are in the dictionary, because you know how fast computers are, and there are programs out there that are password crackers that can run through a dictionary in a matter of seconds and hit all of those passwords, use all those passwords. So make sure that you use letters, capital and small, numbers, and symbols, and intermix them so that it's not it's a letter and number and symbol. And the more you do that and the longer that it is, the best that you're going to have to protect yourself. Identity theft is a huge, huge problem that is occurring. I don't think it's going to go away because let's face it, if somebody wanted to steal money from you, they're going to find a way to do it. So they could come up to you with a gun and say, give me your wallet, and you're going to have to give it to them. But you will also be able to identify the person who it was that came up to you. With identity theft, in a lot of instances, people don't even know that it's happening. They're responding anonymously. They're getting anonymous emails or text messages and responding to them. They don't know really who it is that they're dealing with. And they can't identify how tall they are, what color their hair is, what color is their skin, all that sort of thing. They can't do that. How much do they weigh? All those sorts of things. So identity theft has become huge. We have to do a better job of protecting our personal identification information and avoid those types of frauds and scams. Another one that we're seeing a lot of, another scam, are the computer performance scams. You receive an email saying that they've noticed that they claim to be from Microsoft. and they claim that they noticed that there is a virus on your computer, a very serious virus, that they can assist you in correcting. All online. And people are clicking on these as responses, allowing people, they have no idea who they are. It is not Microsoft. Have access to their computer. And if people are allowed remote access to your computer, in essence, they can take your computer over. Not only take over your computer, but embed things onto your computer, such as keyloggers, which is a program identifying every keystroke that you make, so that in the future, when you log on to your bank account online and you have a keylogger on your virus malware located on your computer, it will pick up that you were at your bank website, and it will pick up the password letters and numbers and symbols that you've typed in, so they can then go on and enter the same information and have access to your bank account. So people are receiving these notices. Hey, there's something wrong with your computer. Contact us. Just click here, and for $49.95, we can help resolve the issues that you're having. Do not do that, because you don't realize it, but when we're sitting at our own little computer, we're in our own little world, and we think that it's just us there. But there are millions and millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people that are on the computer at one time. Microsoft is not watching everybody's computer and all of a sudden thinking that, oh, there must be a virus on this particular computer. They don't necessarily know. And they're not out there monitoring our services, and so they're not going to be contacting us. What you need to do is to not respond to those sorts of things. If, in fact, you click on a link that's associated with that email, you may, in fact, have opened your computer up to virus and malware. And what you really need to do is to take your computer to a professional computer repair service to see what may be there and to remedy that problem. You also should maintain up-to-date virus and malware protection. It's not 100% cure, because like all other scams, people are always trying to stay one step ahead, so there's always new ones that are going out there, and sometimes they can get ahead of the virus and malware protection before the repairs can be made to watch out for those sorts of things. But you may have to take the computer in, but do that and keep things up to date so that you always have protection. The last item that I'm going to talk about, which we're seeing again more and more of, I would get calls all the time, and we can kind of figure it out just by the start of the telephone call, is I'll call it, for lack of a better term, the sweetheart scams. I really can't tell you the number of times that people call and they say about that they had their friend that somehow their friend, they sent some money for their friend, and they're claiming that the money is lost now and that they want us to help them get their money back because it's, and as soon as they say that, we know what happened. What happened is that they supposedly had a boyfriend or girlfriend in some other country, and they sent them money to help them out for something, or that that person is going to come over and meet with them. We've had people call us and say that I sent money to my fiancé. This fiancé they've never met in person. They've only been discussing things with them online. and maybe they talked to them on the telephone after they were initially introduced online. And we see, again, people are becoming very comfortable with online because we're seeing all these online dating services and things that people are going to and meeting people, and I guess that's the new day and age thing that people are doing. But they strike up these supposed relationships where they met online, but they've never met personally, and all of a sudden they start sending money out to people, or give out personal identification information to these people that they have never even met. But they saw them on Facebook. Well, people can make up Facebook pages. All you do is make up a name and make up a profile and stick in some pictures of a very good-looking person, and you think, wow, this person is, really connected with me online, and so we want to send out, I want to send money or send out personal identification information. Don't do it. All I can tell you is that I'm sure that there probably have been successful relationships that have occurred online, but it is not a completely online relationship. If you meet somebody, make sure you're only meeting people in your area where you can actually meet them and see them face to face, rather than just carrying on this relationship with this cyber friend, because these always go bad, and people end up losing money, having their identities stolen, and those sorts of things. These are just a few of the scams that are out there. What we have to do is be good consumers. We have to be smart. I'll frequently use the example of try and step back from the situation. Think of it as if you weren't the one that is caught up in this, but that if some third party, a friend of yours, comes to you and say, hey, I just got notified that over the internet that I won a sweepstakes. In order for me to claim my prize, all I have to do is send them money. What would you tell them? You tell them, oh yeah, go ahead, send the money. No, step back a little bit. Hey, I just met somebody online. They seem like the greatest person. I went to their Facebook page. They are adorable. And, they want me to, send them some money so they can come over and visit and that sort of thing. What would you tell them? You tell them, are you crazy? You've never met this person in person. Don't send the money. If we can do that, we'll go a long way toward helping to protect ourselves. And we've got to do a good job of being good consumers and protecting ourselves so that we don't fall victims to these sorts of things. It's been a pleasure being out here with you here today. I would encourage those of you who would like to join us to come out to our session when we're live. We do take individual questions, and we also speak with people after our session has been taped if they have a problem that might be unrelated to what we were talking about that day, and we talk about those sorts of things. So feel free, come down, visit us. We're here the second Thursday of the month at Cornell Cooperative Extension on Willow Avenue at 11 a.m., and we hope that we will see you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Michael, for being here today to talk to us about consumer frauds and scams. I learned a lot today, and I encourage all of you who are watching to come to be with us in person on the second Thursday of every month from 11 to 12 o'clock. If you have any questions about these presentations or other consumer issues, please call 607-272-2292 and ask to speak with one of our consumer helpline volunteers.